Hello, hello. Welcome everyone on both X and YouTube to the kickoff AMA last call for Rektoff Cohort 2. My name is Lucas. I'm the head of operations here at Rektoff. I'm super excited to be a part of this team and help everyone just really help learn more about what we're doing here and all of the exciting work that we've prepared for Cohort 2. So right off the bat, I'll share with you some numbers for what we're looking at right now. So in Cohort 1, moving forward from it, we had about 1,000 applicants that wanted to join. This time around, we have over 2,000 applicants that are interested in joining Rektoff Cohort 2. So of those 2,000 applicants, we're still only accepting 75 of them, which means that when you're accepted into the Rektoff cohort, you are some of the best of the best. We have global interest from Solana developers, auditors, and students all around the world. And if you're still interested, applications are still open. This is a last call AMA. Apply now at rektoff.xyz/bootcamp, and that's rektoff.xyz/bootcamp. And you're going to see a link for that later. So if you didn't hear me properly, don't worry about it. So we're here to make Rust security education practical, accessible, and something that engineers actually want to do. We're funded by the Solana Foundation, Runtime Verification, and independent security researchers and mentors from across the ecosystem. And all of those people are helping to contribute to build Rektoff into something that's gorgeous and something that really will bring a lot of value to all of our students and anyone who's looking to be a part of the Rektoff community. So to run through some dates, on September 26th, which is later this week, we are going to the accepted cohorts will be announced. About 10 days after that, on October 6th, the cohort will kick off. So and the cohort itself is going to be 6 weeks total. There will be 2 modules in the cohort, which Daniel and Mario are going to be going over. And within the second module, there will be a capstone security project, which will be important if you want to graduate from the Rektoff Bootcamp. So I'm about to hand it off to Daniel to talk a little bit about what we're doing for Module 1. But before that, I want to mention that the chat is open. Submit your questions to the chat, and at the end, we're going to read and answer them. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, and looking forward to seeing you all in the second cohort of Rektoff. We're really in a great spot. Daniel, passing it on to you.
Hey, good to see everyone, and hope you're excited for the next round of the Rektoff experience. Yep, I'm Daniel, and I'm going to be the Module 1 instructor. A bit of background on me. I studied philosophy and mathematics and computer stuff at university, and I like computer stuff the most. So I went into that, and I did a lot of formal method stuff, which is about doing mathematical analysis and proofs about programs. And on that journey, I started working at Runtime Verification, where we apply formal methods often to blockchain systems, often in mind of security for those systems or determining functional correctness. And I also started teaching at Reskills for Rust and here at Rektoff for Rust. So I have taught a bit of Rust now, and I deal with it every day at Runtime Verification. So that's sort of why I'm interested in teaching Rust here and my tie-in with it. But and that is indeed what Module 1 will focus on, is Rust internals. So this is suitable to people who understand programming languages in a already, at least in a general sense. Like if you don't know how to code, it's assuming you know how to code. And I'm going to be taking it that extra step further, where I'm going to be looking at how does memory actually work? What does it mean for Rust to be able to protect us from memory? Really digging into the details of like ownership, the compiler behavior, maybe even unsafe patterns. And then I'm going to try and apply all that so that you can see how the Solana validator works as a Rust process, what it means for that to spin up a SBPF bytecode VM inside it, how this interacts with the abstract blockchain state. In my mind, the reason why I try to go so deep into the details is I think I have a belief that you can't secure systems that you don't understand. And a big part of the Solana ecosystem is Rust. Nearly all of it is Rust. And so that is important. So you're going to walk away having a better knowledge of all that. And please ask me any questions on that. Otherwise, perhaps it's time for Mario to introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mario. And I'll be your instructor for second module. A bit about myself. I've been in this technology field for a long time, and I've been in security for also even more time than that. In blockchain for about 6 years, I think now, and Solana I've been doing almost from the start. I've been involved in some projects at the beginning, and then security in the last 1 year and something. And the way module 2 will basically be projected is that I'm just gonna give you real security, real security experience. We're going to discuss only bugs around Anchor, mostly, and Solana in general. The whole point of module 2 is actually to make you think as a security researcher and not as a dev or normal patterns. Because at the end of the day, when you look at the project from a security point of view, if you don't know how a hacker thinks, you're gonna actually miss. You're gonna miss bugs, right? You have to think like a bad guy, a black hat, when he looks at your project, doesn't have knowledge about your business logic or whatever. He just looks for a way to steal the money, right? And as my colleague Daniel also said, if you don't know enough about the system, you're almost lost. So his knowledge on the Rust, which there are lots and lots of issues that can happen also at the Rust level. And then with my knowledge that I will share regarding the security and how to look for bugs and how to audit basically a code base, I think it's a good strategy to start building and securing Solana programs. We are going to focus mostly on Anchor, but then I'm going to also try to teach you how to look at code, right? And Solana is one thing. Sometimes you can even read some stuff on the web, but I want to teach you how to look for bugs. That's the only thing that matters. At the final, we are basically topping everything that we learned so far with a capstone project, which will basically be a protocol that you have to audit. That's all. It will be a protocol that you have to audit, and you have to look for bugs in it. It's like real experience. That's where the whole thing happens. It's a real. We try to keep it as real as possible because that's the goal. Yeah, I think that's all on my side.
All right. So now I guess we're going to jump in and start going over some questions. If anyone would like to submit a question, right now is the time. Feel free to use the chat on either YouTube or X to submit your questions. To start, we actually had a question from Fulham. What criteria do you use to select the bootcamp participants? And we'll go over that real quick, and then we'll cover some common questions, and then go back to any other submitted questions. Daniel or Marina, would you like to?
Okay, sorry. I thought Daniel's. It's actually.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, I couldn't find the mute button. Yeah. So the criteria that we're looking for getting selected, someone's mentioned in the chat there that they've seen that previously there was, it seemed like all security researchers and stuff like that. And that is true, but that there was quite a lot of people that were already into security. But at the same time, it wasn't exclusively that. What we're looking for this time round, especially, is obviously people that are interested, people that want to learn and can talk about how they're actually going to apply this. But we want people that are going to be engaged. So think if we've got 2,000 people who are trying to have a seat here, we really, really want people who are going to participate throughout the whole entire process with earnest. Now, we understand that everyone is busy, people have jobs, all this sort of thing. But at the same time, if we're looking for people to make a commitment that they will be able to participate in some way. So that's probably what we're most interested in. But of course, we want people who are going to continue to be in the Solana ecosystem. We want Solana to benefit from the people having learned the things that Mario and I are going to teach them.
All right, awesome. So next question, and I guess you already covered this just a little bit. Do you need Solana experience to join?
Not necessarily. I think that you could intend to be in this Solana ecosystem, but like I've come from a different ecosystem and me trying to branch into Solana, like that would be fair. Like in that case, you would not already have a previous history. But yeah, I guess we're not so much like looking back is will tell us about your history, but we're more interested in helping the ecosystem moving forward.
Yeah, just to cover a bit here, especially because in module 2, we actually don't do Solana, we do Anchor. You do need to at least be a bit, I mean, even though you don't actually need to know Solana, you at least need to be, a bit familiar with it, because I'm going to cover, for example, Anchor, and I'm not going to explain what, for example, what this account mean, like whatever and stuff like that, because we are not. I mean, it would take too much time, and that's not the point of the of the whole bootcamp. So you have to at least read yourself a bit Solana on your free time and understand the basic terminology and the basic lingo in Solana, because otherwise we cannot spend time in teaching Solana, because there's not information about that anyhow.
All right, thank you very much, guys. So I guess another question is, what if I'm new to Rust?
Oh, that's it depends how new you are. If you're new and you haven't done a lot of programming, this is not really going to be probably the course for you. Much the same way as like I'm going to assume that as I type out in Rust and sort of explain what's going on, that I'm not going to have to explain the syntax and this stuff. So like you could prepare for that by if you were already a programmer but you hadn't touched Rust before, say, you could prepare for it and get ready so that you weren't stuck on the syntax as I was going through it. But the idea is the same as what Mario said. I can't slow down to teach you the basics, because I'm assuming that you already can get around and understand it well enough that I'm going to explain to you concepts that you you're probably not going to be able to find on your own. That's the point, is to teach you stuff that's harder to do on your own.
All right. So next question, how much time should I dedicate weekly?
Yeah, that's always a tough one. I think it depends person to person. So the way that things work out is the actual like in class time. For me, I do 1 hour of office hours a week, and then there's 2 1.5 hour sessions, which I try as hard as I can to keep them to 1.5 hours. I have a bad track record for going overtime. So worst case scenario, it's 2, but there's like 4 to 5 hours where I'm actually going to be going through stuff, or you can talk to me. Now I have an amount of sort of extra work, like there's a quiz and there's like some working questions and stuff like that. I feel like some people might be able to do that in 30 minutes or an hour, but at the same time, that might be tricky for some people, and that it might actually take in a week, you might spend like 3 or 4 hours trying to do those. And you might also, in order to understand what's going on, you might have to watch things again. You might have to do some reading on the side. So it could take anywhere from 5 or 6 hours a week to it depends how much you need to look into, but yeah, like maybe 10, like in a bad case. I don't know. Mario, what about for your module?
Yeah, on my module, it's up to you how much you want to spend. I usually recommend after the class just to look. So in a cohort, in module 2 we are just gonna explore some bugs and explain some, mindsets. Would be nice to just go over it once again and maybe even search more about those bugs that I'm covering. Because as I said, my only goal is to actually get you to think that way, but I'm not gonna try to explain very in depth, like how that, for example, how a bug can happen in like 10,000 instances or stuff like that. So it's good for you to spend like 3-4 hours a week in module 2 at least until the capstone, of course. And just maybe read more bugs like that. Try to see if you find any additional knowledge and why maybe a bug happened, how can be mitigated more thoroughly, and so on and so forth. Just for you, just to get the gist of it as you go, through the module.
All right, awesome. Thank you, guys. So next question, what happens after the boot camp? And are there any job opportunities to join as an auditor in some firm?
This is an important question that Mario and I have had before, and I guess I want to disambiguate 2 things. This accreditation exactly. This accreditation, if you complete it on its own, wouldn't be sufficient to be like, now I can start taking auditor jobs or something necessarily. Of course, it helps with that, but the idea that this certificate upon completion makes you an auditor is not really what the goal of this course is. Learning to be a security professional and learning to understand how to analyze code and figure out whether behaviors that shouldn't be there are there. Like going on this path is a constant journey, and this is just going to be one step on that journey. But we're trying to teach you like a mindset and a style of approaching how to be security minded. So in that sense, it's not, don't think of this as like, I do this thing and then I can do whatever. Like that might be true, but you shouldn't think of it as it's a sufficient thing on its own. You also need to be attempting to engage with things authentically and bettering yourself independent of the course. But we do at Rektoff, we're trying to create a stream where we're connecting people. We do get contacted by employers and people who are interested in hiring. And although we don't have like an official stream for that or anything at the moment, we do try to connect in that way, but I can't make any guarantee of anything. And like I said, we've only really spun this stuff up since June, so it's still in its infancy. That sort of side of things.
Yeah, I just want to double down a bit on what Daniel said. Yeah, I mean, after the boot camp, I would suggest for you to not start getting, private reviews already, because you need a bit more training. What I suggest to people is just going to competitions and like public competitions, just to then start, because you will learn. You will learn a way for you to actually look at the code from a security point of view, but that's not enough for you to actually be. I mean, in my opinion, it's not enough for you to be confident to say now I can find most of the bugs. It's a training. And you have then to improve what you learn in the bootcamp by just going into the field and look for stuff. After you get a bit good results on the public competitions, or even bug bounties. I mean, you can also feel free to go to there are lots of bug bounties on Cantina, on Immunify, and other platforms where you can actually look at the code and try to find bugs. But it will take a bit, in my opinion, until you can say like, okay, now I'm ready to take a private review. But even though, if for those who do like very well in the bootcamp, if a project actually comes and tries to say, hey, we want someone who thinks that is good at security. Okay, it may not be a senior yet, but he thinks that he's doing the right steps towards that. Those who do good, for sure, we are, free to. And we'll be glad to refer them and have an interview or whatever with the company.
And just to add, we also do offer ongoing alumni support, and one of those forms of support is actually helping people to get started in their code auditing career. So the next question: do we develop any systems in this bootcamp? Any practical projects?
On my side of things, I'll get out of the way quickly. So I am interested in doing something like that, but I haven't been able to get anything like that going so far. But at the moment, what I have is isolated sort of assessment, probably not dissimilar from exam style at university, but much more forgiving, and that's what I have at the moment.
On my side, on my side is like, I mean, the capstone project will be basically very, very like, real life as much as possible. You actually look at the code. So you look at the actual code. I don't want to spoil too much. I'm not sure how much should I say, but I'm just say this, that it's a real somehow project that you're looking at.
All right, so another important question. Those who applied in cohort 1, do you have to apply again? You said that old applications will be considered. So I'll just answer that real quick. You don't, like, we will be looking at applications from cohort 1 as well as the list for cohort 2. So you don't need to apply again. If you have new skills or something else that you want to add to your application, please go ahead and add them and send a new one out. But if you've already applied, then you should be all right. So let's move on maybe to the next one after that. What qualities have you seen in past participants that helped them get the most out of the bootcamp?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Sorry. So what qualities have you seen what qualities have you seen in past participants that have helped them get the most out of the boot camp?
Yeah, no, I really like that question. I think that for everything that you do on your coding, software engineering, security journey, I have a big belief, and that is that persistence and being determined always end up paying off in the long run. I think that people who are prepared to sit down, actually investigate what's going on. Like while I was doing module 1, there were some people who would message me and be like, hey, I'm confused. What about how this works? And I would say, I could answer that, but maybe what you should do is you should conduct an investigation. Feel free, and I would give them like some parameters, and I would discuss with them like what would they consider to be, criteria that they would accept that this was indeed the behavior that the system was doing. And they would then go away and attempt to do that and come back to me, and we would chat about it. And I would say what I would have done different in that investigation, or whether, this sort of thing. But so having being curious and being prepared to actually dig in, I think that is always going to be better for learning. Like you have to participate eagerly.
Yeah, on my side, it's simple. Discipline, all it matters. If you have discipline and you build yourself the discipline to commit to something, it's all it matters. There is no skill, like this applies to everything. Like it doesn't matter how skilled you are in a programming language or critical thinking. Those are nice to have. In the long run, I learned that what it pays off is actually discipline, and in the long run, the one who is disciplined and actually shows up for stuff, like for doing the job, it pays off. So that's what I've seen also in the participants, like the ones who showed up and tried to. Even it doesn't matter if they didn't know something or whatever, but showed up and tried their best. Actually, it paid off. It paid off than anyone like who is already skilled.
I just want to say I really love that answer. That was awesome, Mario.
All right. So another question: does the bootcamp dive deeper on validator stuff like Agave, Jito, and Fire Dancer?
So no, I'm not going to go into Fire Dancer and Jito. I will actually show the Agave validator, and that's because that's made by Anza, or it's maintained by Anza. Yeah. And I will be looking at that source code, and I will be showing you around that, but that is sufficient enough to talk about a validator. I won't need to go into the difference with Fire Dancer or Jito in order to explain the flow of how the SPF runtime interacts with the external source code of the validator.
Yeah, it's a bit too advanced. We cannot cover it in a bootcamp. We need a bootcamp just for that. And I think Daniel is doing a good job explaining high level, and showing the code and so on. But we cannot go and try to, for example, teach you how to look for bugs in compiler or whatever in the code, in the validator. Or no, that's a bit too advanced, and we cannot cover it. We will need, if we will have to do that, we will have to basically change our not only our course, like our material, but also our type of student we get in, because we try to teach general, somehow high level, but also focus more on security, right? If we go deep into a subject, it's a heavy subject, not a subject like easy, and there is already a lot of information that you need to cover, and you need to basically ingest. But we're not gonna go deep into that. And I don't see the point for now, because that subject itself, because file validator and all of those internals, it's, from my point of view, module itself that needs to be explained very, very well, and you already need to have a you already need to have knowledge regarding that.
All right. So I'm going to answer this question very quickly. Will cohort 1 and cohort 2 be the same, and how will cohort 2 differ from the previous cohort? Um, we're better organized, and it'll cover a lot of the same material, but it'll basically be the same thing, but better. Better systems, better setups, and yeah, we've just kind of like upgraded a lot of what we got, but nothing in particular in the matter of content will be changing. So another question that I got was, since number of applicants is increasing, are you planning to increase the number of seats in the next cohort? So right now it's still supposed to be 75, but we are looking at potentially being able to invite more people. This is something that we're discussing, and we'll release information about that when we're able to. And now a question for Daniel and Mario again. Well, I guess more Mario. Tell us a little bit more about the capstone, please.
Well, I don't want to to spoil anything, but it's a real auditing experience. That's all I can say. So the capstone will be starting at some point during module 2, and it will be basically a real auditing experience where you are put in front of a code that has bugs, and you have to basically find the bugs and report them in a way so that it's a real life. That's why we don't also change a lot. We did not change a lot because we understood that. Actually, the capstone was super helpful for most of the projects because for most of the students, because it actually put them in the front of real life. Real life basically code. So it's the best. For now, we'll keep it that way, and it looks like it's a good. We had just gonna give you a bit of info. We had a discussion if we do have it better to be a CTF, but we came to the conclusion that no, because CTF is not necessarily security, if I may say. I mean, it may be some sort of security, but the way you should do it, because we want to train you to actually deliver security services long term. So we see ourselves like the first step in in your career as a security researcher or as a developer who thinks as a security researcher. So it's better for you to understand how you should deliver these services than just trying to just give a bit of CTF like style project.
All right. So we're actually getting close to slowly wrapping up. So if anyone has any final questions, please mention it. So Nasani said that if you are new to Rust, you have a very low chance of selection. So Daniel, do you have anything that you want to say about that in regards to Rust experience and acceptances?
Yeah, I guess a low chance of selection. Well, it depends what you mean by low. Like we accepted quite a few people that were new/beginner to Rust last time. When we looked at the applications, admittedly, if you're new to absolutely everything on here, if you're new to blockchain, new to Rust, new to new to the whole lot, then you're a low chance of being picked. But if you have one of those things, or you can demonstrate, or you make a compelling argument that you're really committed to learning. Like I said, once again, that's the biggest thing that we're interested in, is helping people who are actually going to contribute to the ecosystem, who are actually going to really sit down and learn this stuff. So being a beginner to Rust, people in the last cohort were beginners to Rust. At least some of them were. There was quite a few people that I remember teaching that were.
All right. So another question we got was, when will we get the mails related to the cohort? That's coming this week. Later in the week, everyone who got accepted and I think not accepted will all get emails. So that's going to be coming very soon. So, what are the most important skills or knowledge areas that the bootcamp will cover, and what kind of community support can participants expect during and after the bootcamp?
Support during the bootcamp and after the bootcamp. Well, during the bootcamp, I'm pretty much always at my computer. So if you message me on Slack, like I'm always doing something. Some kind of work. So usually if you message me, I message you back like pretty promptly and help you through whatever you're working on. But like I said, so we have the lecture that I give twice a week, but then I have an office hours, which is meant to just be a drop-in session where you come in and you can provide me with whatever questions that you want. And last time it worked really fun. Mostly people would just ask questions about how stuff works and this, and I would, just perform investigations and show them, uncover what was actually going on behind the scenes, and which is stuff that you can then apply. Like if you see my method and my process for how do I answer these questions myself, then you can see a bit about, hopefully you can apply that yourself if it would be useful to you. After the fact, you're still going to be alumni. You're still going to be part of the Slack and able to engage with us. I think Lucas can speak more about. There's some other things going on, like the code contest, I think.
Yes, that's right. So, like, post alumni support comes in the form of two things. One, helping people get a job. We're working on a proper funnel. Graduates are trained security engineers, and we have folks that are asking constantly for trained security engineers, and also a code auditing team, which we're kind of still setting up some of the works on, but basically, we will be offering code auditing support for folks that are graduated and want to start working with Cantina or Code Arena or things like that. So that's what we're planning on doing there. So I guess the next question that I can see here is other boot camps tracks we were planning to have. What about them? Are they a work in progress? So this is all a work in progress. We'll give out information when we have anything yet. So we're getting there. So I don't see any other final questions. Was there any other? If anyone has any final questions, please put them in the chat right now. If not, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to just quickly going over once again about the application criteria and what makes the best applicants, people that we're really looking for. And then we're going to close up this AMA. So right now, speak now or hold your peace. And I don't necessarily see any other questions. So Daniel and Mario, we have been having like a lot of different questions just about application criteria. So maybe we could just go over it one more time just to make sure that we're really clear on what exactly we're looking for before we close it up. Do you mind telling us just one last time a little bit more about that?
Yeah, at least from my perspective, the short version is we want people that are going to continue to be in the Solana ecosystem. The point of this bootcamp is to benefit the Solana ecosystem by helping developers get upskilled, understanding how security works, understanding how to apply security. So we want people who are going to continue in that space. And of course, we want people that are going to actually have the time and really want to engage with the bootcamp. Of course, we understand that people are busy, but at the same time, if you run out of time and you can't engage properly with the content, there's a ton of people that we want to learn, that we want to be able to come and learn. So that's what we're looking for. Is we're trying to get people who are going to stay in and people who are going to engage throughout the cohort.
Yeah. Also, in my for module 2, what I'm looking for is basically people who want to see and to learn about basically security and how to think as a security researcher. And we will for sure not accept any. So I just want to make sure that this is clear. We will not accept any North Korean, so don't try to apply because we make sure you won't get accepted.
All right. And so Nasani had a question about releasing old cohort lectures. To just answer that real quick, we will not be releasing old cohort lectures. Like the guest lectures, I think those will stay as something that we want to make public, but old cohort lectures will not be made public. So so let's wrap up this AMA over here. So yeah, thank you everyone for coming and attending, and I look forward to hoping seeing a bunch of you and talking to a bunch of you in the actual cohort itself. So apply before the 23rd, that is tomorrow, to get an acceptance. Acceptances are going to come in at the end of the week. And the link to apply, which you're going to see on the screen of this after I finish talking, but I'll remind it to you right now. It's rektoff.xyz/bootcamp. And this AMA recording will actually be shared tomorrow, so you will be able to kind of go over it again if you want to go and double check anything here. And if you want to, yes, feel free to reapply with new details. And join our Discord for more information as well. You can find the link to the Discord on the rektoff.xyz site. And thank you for everyone for showing up. It's been a pleasure talking to y'all. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.